Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us today. Topping our news today at noon, trial continues today for a former Sarasota County Sheriff's Deputy, Frank Bybee. He's accused of stealing thousands of dollars from an elderly woman and then trying to kill her. The victim was back on the stand today after more than 3 hours of testimony yesterday. She testified Bybee tried to smother her and then force her to take pills. The defense finishing its cross-examination of the victim today, trying to discredit her by challenging her memory of the incidents. Then the Sarasota County Sheriff's Deputy who first responded to the attempted murder scene, Jonathan Allen, took the stand telling the jury what he remembers from that night.
Do you have any issues with memory loss?
No.
You sure?
Other than other 80-year-olds, no.
Some of the aspects of the crime scene didn't quite add up, and I thought maybe the victim was trying to get Bybee in trouble.
The trial will resume after lunch. We'll hear from the victim's neighbor coming up tonight on ABC 7 News at 5. New developments today in the death investigation in Northport. Police have now ruled that death as a homicide. Officers were called to a home on Roxbury Circle early Tuesday morning where they found the victim, 22-year-old Jacavies Quay Rivers of Northport. Police are not releasing how Rivers died or any other details, but they do say they do not believe Rivers' death was a random act. The investigation is very active and ongoing. Police are asking anyone with information to call Northport Police. The Sarasota Police Department is partnering with a business that will help cut down on officers' response to false alarms. A false alarm is a request to send police officers to a home or business when there's no evidence of a crime. Last year, police responded to nearly 3,000 false alarm calls. Police Chief Bernadette DePino says a partnership with Public Safety Corporation will allow officers to get to real emergencies. The False Alarm Management Company will offer online services to help police with alarm registration, false alarm notifications, billings, and collections. Well, after getting what he called high marks for the relief efforts in Texas and Florida after Hurricanes Harvey and Irma, President Trump is facing mounting criticism for the response to the devastation now in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. He does plan to visit the island next Tuesday. ABC's Gloria Riviera has the latest.
Crisis in Puerto Rico is growing more dire by the day. Vital aid is stranded at the country's main port. Food, water, medical supplies sitting in cargo containers. Even more frustrating, the massive amount of donations from people in the U.S. can't even get to the island.
Completely unacceptable. I mean, there are people in Puerto Rico that are in trouble, devastated, and they need these resources ASAP.
An obscure U.S. shipping law called the Jones Act has been seen as a hindrance to speeding up relief efforts. The law forbids foreign ships from transporting goods from one point to another in U.S. territory. Under pressure this morning to do more to help the hurricane-ravaged island, President Trump waived the law. But his comments yesterday raised eyebrows when he suggested the interests of shipping companies who were opposed to the waiver were being considered.
We have a lot of shippers and a lot of people that work in the shipping industry that don't want the Jones Act lifted.
Russell Honore, the lieutenant general who oversaw Katrina relief, on CNN blasted the delay.
And the president has shown again he don't give a damn about poor people. You don't give a damn about people of color. And the SOB that rides around in Air Force One is denying services needed by the people of Puerto Rico.
A full week after Hurricane Maria hit the U.S. territory, only 4% of the island has electricity, only about half drinkable water. 80% of telecommunications are down, and the governor is now warning the country is running out of cash.
It's been hell. It's been absolute hell.
The shipping industry lobbied hard against waiving the Jones Act, saying more ships could overwhelm the system. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security says for now this waiver is good for 10 days. Gloria Riviera, ABC News, Washington.
Governor Rick Scott is among top officials heading to Puerto Rico today to help coordinate efforts on the island destroyed by the hurricane. Scott was invited by Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello. This comes after Scott placed the Florida National Guard on standby to help Puerto Rico on Tuesday.
I'm going to do everything I can, whether it's to help the governor, the people, FEMA, whatever resources. I'm going to work with them to try to get every resource we can in Florida. We're blessed. Our state's doing well. We have an experience of going through these things, and so I'm going to do everything I can to be helpful to them.
Also traveling with Scott will be Florida National Guard Major General Michael Calhoun, Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Rick Swearingen, and other state emergency management officials. Well, the largest known gumbo limbo tree at DeSoto National Memorial in Manatee County and in the United States suffered damage due to Hurricane Irma. None of the limbs fell from the 80-year-old tree as Irma swept through the area, but arborists have found 2 new cracks in its trunk. Back in 2007, the tree was given the title of American Forest Champion Tree, which is a designation for the biggest of its species in the country. It's about 45 feet tall, about 16 feet around its trunk, and could weigh about 50,000 pounds. It's not known yet if the tree can be saved. We'll have more on those efforts coming up tonight on ABC 7 News at 6. Let's get a check now on our weather with meteorologist John Scalzi. And yeah, I mean, the trees really took the brunt of that storm, didn't they?
It really did. They really did that in the power lines.
Yeah.
Those
trees fell onto the lines.
Yeah, a lot of that happened. And, you know, they're still figuring out what to do with the debris, I guess, you know, trying to get that cleared up. We are watching the tropics again today. Got some other stuff going on down there, you know, but season's not over yet. We still got a ways to go. Van Wezel webcam shows a pretty nice start to the day. Really no issues here. A lot of blue sky out there and a few fair weather clouds beginning to build across the region, but so far not much rainfall. I'd say the rain chance today is maybe a little bit better than it was 24 hours ago by maybe 10%, but it's still not all that great. I think there'll be a lot of blue sky around throughout the afternoon. You see that cluster of clouds south of Cuba here on our satellite view? We're watching that one carefully. That's going to take moisture and lift it north into the peninsula. There's also some computer models suggesting that perhaps a little area of low pressure might develop just to the east of the Florida peninsula. And then maybe even down the road, we might get a system out in Gulf waters. But that's a long way away if that were to occur. So we got time to watch that and wait. And computer models are notoriously bad 2 weeks out, so plenty of time to wait and watch. In the meantime, look at that moisture beginning to increase in the southern tip of the state. All of that lifting northward, enhancing our rainfall chances for the weekend. Temperatures across the region, again warm today, coming in at 90 or better in all locations. We have 88 degrees right now most everywhere, and a sea breeze will begin to build a little bit later this afternoon. Our rain chance today at about 30%, 10% over the course of the next couple hours for a few isolated showers, but then later in the afternoon we'll watch those storms build. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. 2 people are dead after being struck by an Amtrak train in Winter Park yesterday. That's outside Orlando. Sunrail service between Winter Park and an Orlando area station has been canceled. State transportation officials say buses are being provided to help Sunrail riders travel between those 2 stations. Alligators are a way of life here in Florida, and now apparently they're part of the World Rowing Championships in Sarasota. Organizers say there were a few gator sightings earlier this week. Many rowers and spectators from the 69 countries say alligators are one of Florida's main attractions, and they'd love to spot the large reptile. The gator that was spotted during a race did not disrupt the competition, though.
It's not rare to see an alligator either out on the water or on land. There was a confirmed sighting during competition on Monday, but as the boat was getting near it, he just popped his head right back under the water.
I heard they're afraid of people, so well, and they're really slow at the land, I heard, but really fast in the water. But no, not really afraid.
The other gator sighting was during a practice session. The international organization overseeing the event did send out information to all the rowing teams beforehand on how to avoid an unpleasant encounter with an alligator. Manatee County Search and Rescue members hosting a canine training seminar this week. That 4-day event will include training courses in beginner and advanced human remains detection, beginner and intermediate tracking, trailing, and advanced tracking, trailing. Now, class size is limited, so if you want to register for it online, you can go to ManateeCountySAR.org. Still to come in your Suncoast News, celebrities are doing more than just influencing your fashion choices. And some marijuana vendors have found a loophole in a Washington, D.C. law. That story coming up.
For the last 18 years, Samantha's Friends has been assisting people along the Suncoast who have been challenged by catastrophic illnesses or affected by autism obtain a service canine. We need your help. Please show your support by attending our annual Celebrity Gala brunch and fundraiser. Call Sammy Lee at 941-448-8558 for more information.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline. If you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death, you must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
ABC 7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Well, another above average temperature day. You know, we have 88 degrees current air temperature. We have a lot of sunshine out there. Dew point values at 74, so it's a warm dew point as well, making it feel kind of humid out there. Now, as we get into the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll start to shave that dew point down back into the 60s. We'll cut a degree or two off our air temperature, and it'll start to feel a little bit more like fall instead of summer. Calm winds right now. We'll watch those turn a little bit more westerly, I think, in the afternoon. Titan radar quiet. Nothing going on here that needs to be of any concern to folks who want to get out and about and maybe run a few errands, do a little shopping, whatever. I don't see any issues here weather-wise, at least not for the next several hours. A little bit later on, perhaps so. Maybe around 4 or 5 o'clock. Now, we've got a lot of showery activity down here. Yes, we do. A little trough low pressure lifting northward, bringing moisture along with it. And computer models tend to agree that by the end of the weekend, beginning of next week, we'll start to see at least a broad area of low pressure. Some computer models suggest a more formalized area of low pressure, perhaps a tropical depression even, begin to develop along the northern Atlantic Florida coastline. The Hurricane Center is watching it, says it's about a 40% chance of some development here as this system lifts northward. In any event, what it will certainly do is enhance our rainfall chances as we head into particularly, I think, the Sunday-Monday time frame. I think Saturday will be a pretty decent day. Should be no issues there. Sunday, I think, will be pretty nice as well with, you know, a better chance at some afternoon showers and thunderstorms. But then as we head into Sunday night, Monday, I think better chance of seeing some better coverage with some of the storms. Back to the west, showers and thunderstorms in parts of Texas, stretching up through parts of Colorado as well. Major just thunderstorm activity, nothing there that's really too terribly serious. And for us here in Florida, I think we're looking again at just standard thunderstorm kind of stuff, nothing that's severe in nature. So, what have we got going on? Well, we still have this upper level gyre, this low pressure trough that keeps spinning around here, kind of cut off from the rest of the flow in the upper atmosphere. It's very, very slowly starting to retrograde back toward the west. As it lifts out, it allows for that moisture to start lifting northward. And that's what's going on right now in the process of. This is the moisture in the atmosphere that is available for rain. In this graphic, redder is wetter. And watch what happens with time as we put it into motion. We go through the next couple of days. That humidity, that moisture from the south starts lifting northward. Also, there will be a little area of low pressure at the surface that will begin to develop as that moisture lifts northward. And a frontal boundary, actually, trying to sink southward as well. Frontal boundary will probably stall out over central Florida and eventually just wash away, but it will add a little extra kick to the atmosphere. So the combination of these factors is what's going to bring us a better rain chance, especially as we head into, as I mentioned, Sunday into Monday, when there's a possibility that some parts of the East Coast up here around Jacksonville could get a 5-inch rainfall, possibly. But for today, slightly better rain chance for us, a little warm again, and then we'll watch for that possible increase in our weekend rain chances. And by that, I mean maybe we can get some 2-inch rains around here. Southwest wind at about 5 knots, increasing northwest at about 10. That'll give you a light chop out there, boaters. Nice day for boating. And then about a 30% chance of showers for a couple of days. Increase it to 50% and spike it to 60% on Monday. Scott?
John, thank you. Celebrities can influence what we wear, what we listen to, and what we eat. And as Mary Maloney explains, a new study shows celebs may also influence our health.
Angelina Jolie's announcement in 2013 that she would undergo a preventive double mastectomy prompted other women to do the same. That's according to a new study. Researchers looked at hospital data from New York and New South Wales, Australia, over a 10-year span. 20 months after the actress's op-ed in the New York Times, researchers noticed the amount of procedures on both continents doubled.
The fact that she is leading women down that path to take a more proactive role in their own health is enormously encouraging. It just makes me think she's using her power for good.
It's not just Jolie. After Katie Couric's televised colonoscopy in 2000, scientists saw a 20% increase in patients getting the test, dubbing the significant spike the Katie Couric effect. Both cases showed the power celebrities have to influence healthcare decisions.
I've been very happy just to see the discussion about women's health expanded, and that means the world to me.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
An Iowa man who donated blood regularly over the decades is now in need himself. Air Force veteran Art McInerney started giving blood when he was 17, but a few years ago he diagnosed with a certain type of cancer in his blood cells. Now he's the one who needs others to roll up their sleeves and donate blood.
I never realized in my lifetime how important your brothers and sisters are. But I certainly think about it today.
The twice-widowed McInerney says he's thankful for all those who donate blood, which helps him stay alive. Independent vendors in Washington, D.C. are finding a loophole around the law that makes it illegal to buy or sell marijuana in the city, even though it is legal to grow and consume it. D.C. voters approved recreational cannabis back in 2014, but it's not at sale. So that means it's legal to possess a small amount in the U.S. Capitol, even though it is illegal to buy or sell it. So instead, vendors are offering marijuana as a gift with a purchase.
We can't outright sell cannabis or edibles, but we're allowed to gift them. So what we do, we sell raffle tickets. And with our raffle tickets, we gift any of our edibles or whatever we have that's medicated.
D.C. police say the legal loophole is not fooling anyone, but they admit they aren't actively out hunting for marijuana vendors. Marijuana is still banned under federal law. Students, parents, and school officials are reacting after a picture showing a noose hanging in an Alabama high school classroom circulated online. Chandler Morgan has the story.
You don't need to have a noose nowhere near, in a classroom. It's not, you don't need to be there.
Timothy Scott says his 11th grade son told his parents about an object which appeared to be a noose hanging on a bookshelf in his English class at Smith Station High School.
English class don't have nothing to do with nooses. He was saying that he felt like, he seen this noose in his classroom and he thought that, it shouldn't be there.
Scott says his son showed him this photo, which school officials later confirmed was a noose hanging on display with a skull on top of the shelf.
A noose represents, back in all days of, people getting hung and stuff. And once I seen it, I called to the schools and I talked to the vice principal, and he immediately went down to the classroom and had it taken down.
The Lee County Superintendent's response to the incident, issuing a statement saying after, quote, investigating the matter, it was learned a student created a project related to a novel the class was studying displayed. The student creation was a noose. The item was removed, end quote. The administration also apologizing for the display and explaining the teacher is also expected to apologize to the student body.
My concern was, okay, if he's seen it, how many other people throughout the school have seen it and didn't say anything? Because it has been up since the beginning of the school year. I hope there's more than an apology, because, I mean, think about it. You know, we're talking about somebody that teaches school.
School officials have yet to announce if any further disciplinary actions will be taken against the teacher who displayed that noose. All right, time to head over to the kitchen now and say hello to our good friend, Fran from Libby's. Fran, what are you fixing for us today in the kitchen?
We're going to make Philadelphia cheesesteak egg rolls today. Great lunch.
Sounds delicious. We'll be right back with you, Fran.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC 7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
It's no small wonder anybody loves it all.
I just love art that moves me.
No small,
I mean, really moves me.
wonder.
Sunset Fiat of Sarasota presents No Small Wonder. High performance style. Let the art of Fiat move you.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251. 800-628-1251.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Manasota Flooring.
Looking for carpet? Look no further. Manasota Flooring has Smart Strand carpet as low as $1.79 per square foot. Installed, no add-ons or extras. Unbelievable? Manasota Flooring can have in-stock carpet installed in your home in 48 hours for as low as $1.99 per square foot. Don't miss these prices. Visit Manasota Flooring today.
Start your day with a new Good Morning Suncoast team. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m.
Lonely hearts looking for romance find robbers instead. ABC's Camila Ortiz is in Omaha, where these robberies are now happening.
It was too easy, way too easy.
Aaron Black is looking back at what he's calling a dumb decision.
And I'll own that. I have no problem owning that.
Black, one of 7 men falling for a dating dupe, hoping for companionship, instead becoming a victim of armed robbery or attempted robbery.
Slender, white female, arched eyebrows.
Black says he started talking to who he thought was a woman on the dating app Plenty of Fish early Wednesday morning. They decided to meet up a couple hours later at an address near 24th and Reddick. Once there, his phone call went unanswered.
Right then I knew it. As I was turning around, I had a gentleman running up on me with a gun drawn.
2 men robbing Black of his wallet, phone, and a $900 gold chain. Omaha investigators say 5 other cases have happened in the last 7 days, plus 1 attempt. The victims lured to locations near Miller Park between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. by different fake profiles on Tinder and Plenty of Fish.
There's some information out there that they are basically stolen images taken off the internet.
A lesson learned for Black, who has this advice.
Ask for like a different form of communication, like a Snapchat, something live. Make a phone call.
Now, if they know where you live and they know where you are, then they know your home is likely to be empty. That's how this works. Police suggest to avoid making announcements on social media, no matter how tempting it is, and share vacation photos after you get back home from the vacation. Back to the kitchen now. John is with our good friend Fran from Libby's. John?
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. We are here with Fran. Fran, good to see you again, as always. Pleasure.
Good to see you.
You're looking very well these days.
Stopped eating egg rolls about a year ago, John.
You're the man.
Man.
You're the man.
This is what happens.
You're cooking out some beautiful, it smells so good in this kitchen, I can't even tell you. You are like an amazing restaurateur here in this town. You've done so much, created so many wonderful restaurants. What are you cooking for us today?
So this is a staple at Libby's Cafe and Bar. We have it's a Philadelphia cheesesteak egg roll.
Oh, what can be bad with that?
Right. It's been on the menu for about 8 years. Real simple. It's great for homes, great for parties. They can be made in advance and frozen.
Oh.
So it's a great item that people can cook at home. And you know, if you can make a cheesesteak, if you can saute some onions and some shaved ribeye. The shaved ribeye we just buy locally, like at Morton's, a pound at a time. It's cheap. It's inexpensive.
Is there a trick to cooking that?
You know, John, it's real simple. The onions and the beef with just butter and salt and pepper. It's very, very simple. The less to it, the better.
Slow heat, fast heat?
Fast heat.
Okay.
And just to show for time, basically, when this is cooked, John, you see the only chefy-like move for this whole thing?
Yes.
The fat that's rendered?
Right.
Keep the fat. So sometimes when we cook, we have that fat build up in the pan and we toss it away.
Yeah, pour it off.
We like to keep that fat.
That's a good tasting thing.
Right? And if we were making this cheesesteak like a sandwich, like a sandwich right now, we'd be adding the cheese into it so the cheese would melt.
Right.
And that's one other chefy move for this, is that when we have the filling at this point and the meat's cool, that's when we add the cheese.
Oh, okay.
Right? So Pat's and Gino's and those crazy locals down there in South Philly, they use like provolone and cheese whiz and stuff. You know, at Libby's we just use Velveeta. And the idea is that we don't want the cheese to be melted here. So we want the meat mix to be cool with onions. We add the cheese so it doesn't get homogeneous. The cheese doesn't melt.
Gotcha.
The cheese will have a melt once it's inside, a chance to melt once inside the egg roll.
Okay.
Right, so it eats like cheese.
Gotcha.
Right. So when the meat is cooled, in this we form these little like handy dandy tubes, and then from here we're just going to make shape any way you like.
Now, are these the egg rolls that you get right out of the grocery store?
Right at the grocery store, Publix. This is in the produce aisle, Publix, and I just use a little bit of egg wash for seal.
Okay.
Right? And you know, like a little taco.
Well, that's pretty simple.
Yeah, simple enough.
Right.
We brush it with egg wash. So we have different versions, John.
All the way around, like a baguette.
Right. We can brush it with egg wash and bake it like this, so it's a little bit healthier, right?
Yeah.
But of course, the best ones are deep fried.
Oh,
right? So we deep fried a couple. I brought them over from the restaurant and grabbed them.
Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so.
Nice.
There you go, right? And you get that golden brown, crispy, served with whatever dipping sauce you like. And a great thing, when we do these wontons themselves, these wrappers themselves, cut into smaller sections, rolled up smaller pieces. You know, for parties, just deep fried, so more like bite size.
Okay.
Right. So this size here is what we do, and this here shows what we do after it's wrapped. We do brush it with cornstarch.
Oh.
And the cornstarch is great to adhere for the egg wash for when it's baking.
Okay.
And it's also a great move for if you are deep frying. This is what adds that heavy crust to it.
So you coat it in the cornstarch like you're dredging it, actually.
All the way around.
All the way
so
around.
For home, if we're making this dish at home, at this point, this can go into your freezer for a week and be cooked and frozen, or just in the fridge. But the cornstarch is a necessary step.
And then you'd wash it with the egg wash, right?
Right. So
which is basically just what? Water and a little egg yolk?
And this one, we don't even use water, John. So you are a chef. You know all these things. We just use straight egg on this, so it gives it a heavy gloss and gives it a good crust.
Great. Well, that's so simple. And how long will it freeze? How long can you keep those in the freezer?
You freeze these for about 3 weeks,
and
you thaw them in the refrigerator, and then from there you can either go to the fryer, to the oven.
Perfect. Or you can just go to Libby's.
Or go to Libby's. Best idea.
That's the best idea. Fran, thanks very much. You always appreciate it. The recipe's on our website, mysuncoast.com. Go on there, click on the dining link page. All the information you need, the shopping list, Fran's video instructions, as well as his beautiful recipe as well. Ah, I can't wait to have one. Looks absolutely great. We'll be right back.
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio takes the modern compact luxury crossover and injects it with personality.
Every crossover should be this good to drive.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. It's the final days of the Bacon's Furniture Relocation Sell-Off. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. Don't miss the final days of the Bacon's Furniture and Design Relocation Sell-Off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On Group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On Group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On Group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
I went in skeptical and came away impressed.
Stelvio can spring from a standstill to 60 miles per hour in 5.4 seconds, a segment best.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. A Central Florida family has returned to Orlando after being stranded in Puerto Rico for more than a week after Hurricane Maria. Tyra Elwes, her husband, and their 2-year-old daughter were emotional as they stepped off the plane. Family members greeted them with food from McDonald's and diapers for their toddler. The young couple talked about other things they went without on the now ravaged island.
There's no plantain, no bananas, no oranges.
It's destroyed. People are with no water, no electricity. It's hot. You can't sleep.
I got 2 older kids and they lost everything. They got no clothes. They got no school supply. They lost everything. They got no water, no power. They don't got nothing. They lost everything.
Noah said now that they're back in Florida, they just want to relax and recover in air conditioning, a bath, and take in some Netflix too. Some schools are back open now in the Florida Keys. Yesterday was the second of 3 staggered school opening dates in Monroe County since Irma ravaged the Florida Keys. For many students, being back in school is the only access they have now to air conditioning. The free breakfast and lunch may be the only hot meals they're getting too. During first period, students filled out surveys on their needs, things like clothing, hygiene products, and school supplies. Principal Wendy McPherson says it felt pretty darn good to return to Marathon Middle and high schools. Rescuers are still combing through the rubble in Mexico after last week's massive earthquake there. More than 300 people are dead. Even as the hope of finding more survivors is fading, officials say the search could last for at least 2 more weeks until they are certain no one else is missing. Now, following that deadly earthquake, part of Mexico slightly shaken yesterday by a volcano eruption. In the last 24 hours, the volcano has had 25 low-intensity eruptions. The volcano has been active since the mid-1990s and registered some significant eruptions last year.
Beautiful from a distance.
I was just thinking that, John. Wouldn't want to be close to it, though.
Wouldn't want to be close, no. I guess it's the most active one in Mexico, so the locals, I guess, expect it after a while, but I don't know. We have across our region beautiful skies out there. No volcanoes in the state of Florida. Looking at blue sky, and that's the way we started off the day. That's the way we're probably going to finish it up in a lot of places. Maybe a few fair weather clouds building. Perhaps a shower or two possible, but still, the rain chance is pretty low today. However, that's probably going to change as we head into the next couple of days. We're watching down to the south of Cuba. That cluster of clouds that you see down there, that is forecast by the Hurricane Center to have about a 40% chance of development, or I guess you could say a 60% chance of not developing over the course of 5 days. But in any event, it is lifting northward, and it is bringing more moisture to the state of Florida, regardless of whether it develops or not. It's going to bring us better rain chances. If it did develop, it would likely be on the east side of the state of Florida up toward Jacksonville, and it would probably develop as maybe a tropical depression or subtropical depression, something like that, and just enhance rainfall chances. This is not going to be a serious one, but it will produce a fair amount of rainfall for some parts of the state of Florida, particularly the other coast. Warm again today. Daytime highs topping out in the upper 80s, low 90s. Right along the coast, you'll get upper 80s, but inland, I'm sure you're going to crack the 90 mark everywhere. Most places, even closer to the coast, we'll probably see 90, 91 for a daytime high. We'll see a little bit of a sea breeze build. That'll bring in showers a little later on. 30% chance of rain today. Complete forecast for you coming up in just a few. Back to you.
All right, John, thank you. Authorities are investigating after animal welfare officials found the remains of 3 horses in South Florida. Investigators say the horses appear to have been slaughtered for their meat for human consumption. One horse appears to be a thoroughbred, but its upper lip was missing. That's where it would have been a tattooed ID would have been placed. Investigators are asking horse owners or anyone for information. The SPCA is also warning people that eating horse meat is toxic because of the vaccinations and medications they are regularly given. The latest now in a federal fraud and bribery scandal in college basketball. The FBI says its 2-year investigation reveals college coaches taking cash bribes in exchange for steering NBA-bound athletes towards specific financial advisors and sports agents. One of the schools being investigated is the University of Miami. Today, UM President Julio Frank confirmed a member of the coaching staff is being investigated and has since been put on administrative leave. Frank says Miami has pledged full cooperation with the Department of Justice and the NCAA. A Florida man is recovering after he was bitten by a shark that refused to let him go. Vic Michelucci has the story.
Hold him still, hold him still. It is a day that Irvin McCarty will never forget. The day a shark bit him and would not let go.
Come on, Johnny, come on. Stab him or something.
This is video from a fishing boat a few miles off the coast of Marathon. That is a 2 to 3 foot long nurse shark on Irvin's stomach.
Get the damn thing off of me.
Irvin had been lobstering and spearfishing with family and friends. He says he dove down about 12 feet to get a grouper that someone else speared.
I turned to go back up the air and something hit me in the stomach. I don't know if somebody kicked me or what, but whatever hit me was biting onto me.
He surfaced far away from the boat, and there was a strong current. All the while, he couldn't shake the shark off.
I had to grab it with both hands, keep it from shaking, and get up for air at the same time.
It tried to pull him underwater.
I thought I was drowning.
He says after about a 20-minute struggle, he finally got to the boat.
Cut him so he would turn loose.
I was out of breath. It was wearing me out. It took everything I had to keep it from shaking.
To get it off, a friend stabbed the shark. It was their only option.
Irv, I'm bleeding him out. You're just going to have to lay there for a minute and let him bleed out.
But it actually took around 6 more minutes until the shark released. But the shark bit him a second time in another part of his stomach. That time it let go a little easier.
Poor little guy.
Irvin got a checkup and a tetanus shot. But the big question is, will he be back in the water?
I'll continue to fish. I'll continue to snorkel. Just make sure there's not a nurse shark around.
So now he's got this scar, and quite the fish story. At least this one has video to prove it.
All right, that was Vic Micolucci reporting. Hugh Hefner has passed away. The founder of Playboy magazine embodied the lifestyle he promoted. He passed away last night at the Playboy Mansion in L.A. ABC's Alex Michelson has more from Hollywood.
Some of the most legendary parties of all time happened here, inside the Playboy Mansion, with host Hugh Hefner holding court.
He could definitely get a lot of ladies.
Now, Hef's mansion is quiet and somber.
See right there, folks, that's where Hugh Hefner passed away tonight at the age of 91.
A tour bus stops to pay its respects.
Because in many ways, this is the most famous house in Los Angeles.
So many of Hefner's most lavish parties here benefited progressive causes.
Not only humanitarian, but he was really forthfront with women's rights. A lot of people see the opposite, but with women's rights, gays' rights, race rights. So he was really a legend and a hero.
Jenny McCarthy tweeting, "Hef, thank you for being a revolutionary and changing so many people's lives, especially mine. I hope I made you proud." Gene Simmons saying, "A great man, entrepreneur, and innovator. Your legacy lives on." Some here dropping off flowers. What do you think is Hugh Hefner's legacy?
I would have to say live life how you want to live it. Live it for you.
He already lived on heaven on earth, so it's in heaven for real now.
Well, Hefner was 91 years old. He's survived by his wife, Crystal, his sons, Cooper, David, and Marston, and his daughter, Christy, who now runs the business. Though she never met Hefner, a Sarasota resident worked for the Playboy empire more than 45 years ago. Wendy Resnick was a cocktail waitress for the Playboy restaurant chain in Miami back in 1970. Resnick says Hefner played a huge part in changing pop culture. She says the uniforms they wore turned a lot of heads at the time.
And that was considered very, very risque, what we were doing. And if you consider that it was, really the costumes just showed a lot of cleavage and they were cut up around the hip, around, but now, people walk around with thong bathing suits and practically naked walking on the beach. So I think he was probably like the start of that era of people just showing more skin.
Resnick says Hefner handed down very strict rules about how the bunny waitresses looked and acted, and she says if they touched a customer, they could be fired. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a major European airline has canceled thousands of flights. We'll tell you to and where from next.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Get the lowest prices of the year during the Ram Power Days event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Don't just settle for what's available at a smaller lot. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of Ram trucks. Get maximum cargo space and more comfort with a new Ram Quad Cab at rock bottom pricing. Or spread out in your spacious new Ram Crew Cab and save up to $10,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Start your day with a new Good Morning Suncoast team. Weekdays starting at 5 a.m.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
88 degrees air temperature. We have a dew point coming in at 74. Calm winds out there right now and plenty of sunshine. Over the course of the afternoon, I think we'll probably see a couple of showers begin to build in inland areas. Our rain chance, I think, is a little better today than it was 24 hours ago, not by much. And the number of storms that we get is still going to be less than we would normally see, but there'll be a few around and they will gradually build and kind of drift toward the coastline as they die out. That's what the plan is for today. However, over the course of the next several days, I think we'll start to see this moisture that's down to our south begin to lift northward and enhance our rainfall chance significantly. This is pretty deep moisture down here, and in fact, you can already see pretty clearly on the water vapor imagery, which is kind of a satellite snapshot of where the moisture is and is not, and the tan color is where the moisture is, and that is clearly beginning to lift out back to the west, retrograde away from the peninsula itself, and allow for that moisture to begin to lift northward. This is a picture, a model, if you will, of where the moisture is in the atmosphere that's available to rain. It's called precipitable water, and that's exactly what it is, the water in the air that can precipitate out as rain. And if you put it into motion, you'll notice that deep, thick amount of moisture to the south lifts northward, just as forecast, and moves into our area so that by Sunday into Monday, we have a pretty good supply of moisture to produce some fairly heavy rainfall. And some of the precipitation forecasts down the road suggest that over the time period of Sunday through about Wednesday of next week, the area right along the Atlantic seaboard could see some significant rainfall, up to 5-inch rainfalls. Our coast may be more like about a 2-inch rainfall over time. So we'll watch that happen, and we'll watch perhaps the development of a low pressure area as well. Hurricane Center gives that about a 40% chance of happening. That low pressure area would certainly enhance the rainfall chances, plus an approaching front would also do the same. That front will stall out over central Florida. Won't bring us any cooler air, but it will provide a little extra enhancement in terms of lift. That low pressure area could linger for several days if it does develop. It could become a tropical depression or a subtropical depression, much less likely to become a tropical storm. In any event, it'll be mostly out in the Atlantic waters, maybe eventually working its way up toward North Florida or Georgia coastline. It's the fact that it's a tropical system is mostly, the impact from it would mostly be felt in terms of the amount of rainfall that it produces. Nothing much more than that. Maybe we get some rip currents along the northern Gulf Atlantic waters, but other than that, it's not the kind of systems that seems like starting to get used to this hurricane season. So slightly better rain chance, warm again, possibly heavy weekend rains. Couple of systems we watch, of course, Maria, Lee, and this disturbance down to the south, given a 40% chance as it lifts northward. Maria, now a tropical storm. Lee, now still a Category 2 storm. Both of them still forecast to continue on a track that takes them out into the open waters of the Atlantic, eventually just merging sort of into a low pressure area that will be of no bother to anyone. Southwest wind at about 5 knots becomes northwest at about 10 this evening. Light chop anticipated, and the official Suncoast forecast calls for those increasing rain chances, especially Sunday into Monday. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Thousands of travelers are disappointed after Ryanair announced it's canceling another 18,000 flights. This is the biggest flight company in Europe by passengers carried. The airline described the measure as canceling less than 1 flight per day per airport across 200 airports. But hundreds of customers have already booked flights.
Makes things difficult. It's not what you need. You just want to book things and have them in place and go. They've obviously lost pilots and are having to arrange things for the holidays, and I understand that's a difficulty they have, but it doesn't help anybody who's trying to get to their destination.
Though more than 99% of the airline's customers will not be affected, CEO Michael O'Leary issued an apology to customers affected by the cruise The routes canceled include London to Edinburgh and Glasgow, Gatwick to Belfast, Newcastle to Faro, and Glasgow to Las Palmas. President Trump is promising an overhaul of the U.S. tax code. It's the biggest in decades, and he insists the middle class will benefit. The specifics are still a work in progress, but the general framework proposes lower taxes on corporate profits, fewer income tax brackets, and the end of the estate tax. How these massive tax cuts will be funded already has some Democrats and Republicans expressing concern, but the president insists it's not for his benefit.
Our framework includes our explicit commitment that tax reform will protect low-income and middle-income households, not the wealthy and well-connected. And it's not good for me, believe me.
The president's plan will also slash the tax on corporations from 35% to 20%, reduce the number of tax brackets for individuals and families from 7 to just 3, and double the standard deduction, meaning no taxes on the first $24,000 of family income. Diapers could help Walmart attract new customers. Walmart announced its private baby brand, Parents' Choice, is adding nearly 120 new items and upgrading many others, a strategy that could give Walmart an edge in attracting new, younger customers as they start their families. One key product being added, premium diapers, which are hitting Walmart stores now and will be available online next month. Diapers, of course, a key driver for customer traffic because they are purchased very frequently. Amazon already offers auto delivery for diapers, which many parents find very convenient. The National Association of Realtors says fewer people signed contracts to buy homes in August, marking the 5th decline in the past 6 months. The 2.6% decline reflects the shortage of homes being listed for sale. Realtors say Hurricanes Harvey and Irma had a negative impact in the South, where pending contracts declined nearly 8%. Sales also fell in the Northeast, but ticked up slightly in the Midwest and out west. Still to come in your Suncoast News, one celebrity doing her part to give back to women everywhere. We'll tell you who next.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC 7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Why settle for less? Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru is the best overall brand for 2 years running and the most trusted brand for 3 years running, according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. Right now, you can lease one of Subaru's most versatile vehicles, the Subaru Crosstrek, for as little as $199 a month, or get 2.9% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
It's Willamania at the Players Center as the Will Rogers Follies takes the stage September 27th. Part homespun humor and part Ziegfeld Follies, this toe-tapping Tony Award musical is the start of our wild Broadway series. So call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. You need to catch Willamania.
As a singer-songwriter, it's all about creating high-performance art that moves people. Same is true in making gorgeous cars. Fiat designs it. You're the artist.
Choose your palette just about any color combo inside out. No small wonder, state-of-the-art style Fiat.
Now this moves me. Oh, they're playing my song.
Let the art of Fiat move you at Fiat of Sarasota.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-817-1064.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert weather app now.
If you buy Sofia Vergara's underwear, not her personal underwear, John, but the one she sells in the store, you'll be helping other women. The Modern Family star just launched her new line of undergarments called EB, and she says 10% of the proceeds will go to women who need it in the form of microfinancing. Vergara says that for the launch, they're empowering women in her native Colombia, and then next month they're giving money to women here in the United States.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Is that the underwear in the background there?
I guess.
It must
I don't
be.
know. I wasn't looking at it.
No. So, what are we talking about?
Anything you want. Anything but women's underwear. How's that?
That sounds good. We have some pleasant weather, maybe a few showers. Bob will track them on radar later today.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
The Alfa Romeo Stelvio takes the modern compact luxury crossover and injects it with personality.
Every crossover should be this good to drive.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.